Hello. Hi there, Priyanka.
Hiya, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Yeah, all good, thank you.
How's your Wednesday been?
Yeah, it's been okay. Just sorting out some admin, just like a midweek admin day.
Okay, sounds
Um,
sounds sounds fair. Sounds fair. Sounds normal. I mean, yeah. On this side, I was been a pretty busy morning, but now in the afternoon was actually a bit quieter. So I mean, and I would like to also thank you for taking the time to meet a bit earlier. I mean, as if I'm free, I'm happy to meet as soon as possible.
and yeah,
Yeah.
why not? Thank you as well.
No, perfect, perfect, perfect. So, I mean, obviously, I have a bit of an understanding of what we'll be discussing, but obviously, if you could just tell me a bit in your own words,
Mm.
just a quick summary, and then trying to see how I can advise you and what kind of advice I can give you.
Yeah, of course. So it's one of those things that it's been at the back of my mind, over the last
Mm,
year to sort out. But because I know obviously tax would be sort of, we'd be looking to pay and sort tax out the following January. I thought, okay, I've got some
mm,
time because
yeah.
I only started in June last year. So
Hmm.
it's just been on the back of my mind. And then, with the day trading and the community, people are always asking questions. And I'd done a quick search and it seemed like something that was, it was just a bit of a question mark, but most people seem to say if you're doing it, it's not your main source of income and
Mm,
things like that, then it should be fine. But yeah, basically, I don't know if you apologies as well. This morning, it was literally a search, a Google search,
yeah.
you know, like
Mm,
accountants for day
for day
traders,
trading. Yeah.
and your company seemed to rank really high, so
Mm.
amazing. And through that,
Thank you.
that's kind of how I came through and just booked a call because I thought, why not just at least start
Okay.
having a
Yeah, no,
conversation?
100%,
So,
100%. Better to be
yeah,
informed than to regret in the future when you get a mean letter from HMRC.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also equally, I haven't done as much research. So a lot of the
Hmm.
questions I have maybe on the internet, but I just thought because there was the option to get on the call, I did that. So I've not done too much research. But yeah, from my
Got it.
side, I'm part-time. I'm a dentist, and
Okay.
I don't know if you work with any other dentists and things,
I
but
literally, that's actually funny that you mentioned because I even yesterday I had a call for a lady also looking for accountants for a dentist, and she also come across us because we also do rank well for accountants for dentists because we have a lot of experience with dentists. We have, I think, at the moment we're working with just this year alone for tax returns. I think we did six, maybe seven. So we do have
okay,
quite a lot of experience with dentists as well, and
okay.
forex. So I'm finding it funny because it's the two fields that we have the most experience with. So it's kind of funny. But yeah,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
really?
Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, so yeah, in the UK, it's kind of like, you're self-employed. So
Mm.
I've been doing that, for like 6, 7 years now.
So dentistry as as self-employed.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty much how it works in the
Mhm.
UK. As a dentist, most people are
Okay.
self-employed, so we've just got to do our own tax
Mhm.
returns and everything. So I've already got an accountant who helps me with that. But then
Okay. Perfect.
a year, actually 2, 3 years ago, I kind of just stopped enjoying it as much. And I also do kind of nutrition, functional medicine,
Okay.
part time as well. Over the long term, I'm looking to just drop dentistry, just don't enjoy it at all. But
Okay.
that's where last year, I don't know if this is something you guys have noticed, but day trading and things started popping up for a lot of people. And
Definitely. Definitely.
yeah, I mean, I've always been like, for a long time, I've just
Mm.
wanted to just a bit more flexibility. I think I just had a lot of
Okay.
FOMO when a lot of people were able to work from home and I
Yeah.
wasn't.
Fair enough.
So it's kind of started since then. And
Mm.
yeah, like it's also finding something that suits the person you are. But yeah,
Mm.
like just in my pursuit for just a bit more freedom to work from
Okay.
anywhere, dabbled into day trading and
Mm.
kind of jumped in. So, it's not like I'm making profit. If anything, it's not been very good, but it's a learning curve.
Okay.
It
It's a
is a
start. It's a start. Yes.
It is, yeah, and I've got a long way to go, but
Mm.
it's one of these things that even today, like, there is no profit really to pay tax on
Okay. Okay.
because I've
Okay.
actually lost a lot. But anyway, the point, like, I'm learning and I'm hoping that over
Mm.
time it will become profitable and I enjoy it. I think I like who and what I learn about me in the process. So
Okay.
it's just over time, that was my question. How does it work? And
Mhm.
it's something I will be doing very much part-time. Like, I don't enjoy it in the sense it's not fulfilling. So
Okay.
it will be something very like,
Mhm.
um, yeah, like just a little like set out a couple of hours in the day. But ultimately, I will be doing kind of my nutrition and functional medicine stuff mostly.
Okay.
So
And that, the nutrition and that side would also be remote, I'm assuming, and self-employed?
yes, yeah.
Okay, good, that makes sense. And in terms of, like, the dentistry, do you operate as a sole trader? Do you have a company? How does that look?
Yeah, I'm a sole trader.
Sole trader. Okay, no, that
Yeah.
is completely fine. Just trying to think of the future, and you mentioned that you've started dabbling with day trading since June last year, and that
Mhm.
you haven't been profitable since.
No.
Okay. I mean,
No.
there's no shame in that. I mean, I'm just trying to understand
Yeah.
piece all the pieces together. So, because I mean, obviously, with trading, you do have a personal allowance, a yearly personal allowance. So even if you trade, if you earn up to £1,000 per month per year, then it falls within that allowance, and you don't have to report it. But and you mentioned that you have incurred in maybe losses.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, because it's a good thing as well, because with the self-assessments, you can report these losses and you can offset them for the future. When you do incur in profits, then you can offset these and lower your from your overall tax. So that could be something worth noting. So again, even if it's profits, if it's losses, it's always important to keep a clean record of all of those, because they're both important, let's say.
Mhm.
And even if you don't have profits or losses, it's always important to submit your self-assessments, just even for a matter of of transparency with with the HMRC.
Mhm.
So it's definitely good. But when it comes to taxes, it's important to understand that there are ultimately two categories that HMRC will categorize you under. So you can either fall under the income tax or the capital gains tax. And
Mhm.
and to judge this, HMRC has a system in place called the 9 badges of trade. I don't know if you're familiar with the 9 badges of trade.
No.
In your searches in your community, no one brought that up.
I don't think so.
Okay,
No.
now that's completely
No.
fine. But it's basically 9 categories that HMRC will use to basically judge your activity. And there's a lot of different
Mhm.
criteria. Basically, the frequency of your trades, the size of your trades, the systems you have in place in order to
Mhm.
perform your trading. So there's a few different categories that would ultimately uh, categorize you and assess if you'd fall under the capital gains tax or the income tax. So those
Okay.
it's not just the fact that, as you said, maybe it's just the day trading or the small trades or this and that. It's more the
Mhm.
compound aspect of it that will ultimately determine how HMRC views your trading activity. So
Yeah.
where and this would be a bit speaking broadly, but how does this typically works is that if you trade mostly for, let's say, I'm going to say leisure, let's say people, for example, you hear about crypto, you get a bit of interest, you invest a bit in crypto, and you leave it there for like a year, 2 years, and you
Mhm.
actually make a good profit, then this would be again fall into a bit of that leisure category where you'd be taxed under capital gains tax because you bought it, you left it there for a while, and you actually made a profit. But the intent of it wasn't necessarily to make a profit; was more for the investment, and it's a bit different. For example, from what I'm hearing, at least, that you do is that where you start trading frequently. So a couple, I mean, these people obviously day trading kind of implies that you trade every day, but they say that you trade even like 3, 4 times a week. That's already a good
Yeah.
indicator that you're probably more falling into the professional trader side of it. The size and the frequency of your trades. The size is a big one. The frequency of your trades, how long you hold your positions for. If you buy and sell on the same day, if you buy on the same or buy and then sell on the next week or something like that, that
Mhm.
also plays a bit of a part. And then the other aspect that you also mentioned of how much or how big is the proportion of trading in respect to your overall income, for example. So that's also a big play. In this case, obviously, trading isn't part of your even
No.
a portion of your
Not yet.
income at the moment. At the
Yeah.
moment, but yeah, in the future, as you start earning and this starts becoming a
Mhm.
more substantial part of your income, then that will also make a big impact on how HMRC views your activity. So at the moment, given that you don't have any kinds of earnings from it, then I mean, it's also the fact that you're even not even probably falling under any category because there's nothing to categorize even yet.
Yeah.
But as you start understanding better how or how to trade and you start making profits, these are the types of categories that you should consider in terms of how HMRC will view your activity. That's how
Mhm.
ultimately it will work. And then, as I said, there are the two types of taxes. So you either be taxed under capital gains tax or income tax. And then the income tax, depending on the tax bracket that you're on, then it would also be that's where then where you're pushed into higher or even the additional tax bracket. That's where, and the thing that I was mentioning about opening a limited company, for example, starts to become very beneficial, because then you'll be very it's a way of sheltering you from the tax,
Mhm.
and to prevent you from paying any more tax than you ultimately have to. But that's something that, again, only starts becoming more and more relevant further down the line, where you also, or when you are already incurring in good and substantial levels of profit, because not only it comes with higher requirements in terms of for reporting, but also then there's costs to just maintain the company,
Mhm.
and to have a company open. So those are, I mean, I'm maybe I'm going a bit fast. I don't know if you have any questions so far, anything that you would
No, I
like me
think
to
it's
explain a bit better.
not really. Yeah, like I get it that there's these different criteria, and ultimately it'll depend on the numbers I provide, is it?
Mhm.
That they will then determine what tax. So
Yeah,
as I'm
definitely.
earning, as I become profitable, how will I know myself that, like, rather than waiting for HMRC to tell me
Mm.
how much tax is going to go, is there a way I can kind of just figure this out myself, which bracket I'll fall under?
That is a bit of a difficult one, because that's the thing. The decision is ultimately always up to HMRC. You,
Mm-hmm.
the 9 badges of trade are public, and I'll obviously, after this call, I can even share it with you. I'll send you a
Mm-hmm.
message with all the different badges that will ultimately categorize your activity. And
Mm-hmm.
then it's a bit up to you to look at these badges, see where you fall in all of them, and then the more boxes you tick, the more likely you are to ultimately be taxed under the income tax, in this case, because considered a professional trader. But I mean, if you are a professional trader, if you are a trader that trades every day, so the frequency of your trade is quite big, you hold your positions for a short period of time. If you are starting to incur in being quite substantial profits, and these profits are starting to become a good portion of your income, if, for example, you, and I don't know if this is something that you're considering, I'm assuming that maybe it is, but start trying to get funded with prop firms. Is this something that would interest you?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm already like doing a challenge.
Okay, so you're already doing challenges. So, for example, this is a big influence in how HMRC views activity, because from the moment that you are funded with a prop firm, then there's a more substantial structure to your trading, if that makes sense. Because that's also a big part, is the structure that you have to your tradings. That the if you have any kind of software, for example, people buy bots and stuff to help them with the tradings. These are all indicators that you are, and you would fall under the professional trader category. So these are little things. Obviously, the, the, the the biggest difference is, like, for example, people that buy and trade. I'll buy now, I'll sell it in 6 months, 12 months, 2 years. That's a bit when the trading is more sporadic. Even if the level of the profits is big, if the trading is more sporadic, and the intent behind the trade, those are the things that will really have a play in how HMRC views your activity.
Okay, fine. And so, I know previously someone, probably a lot of people mentioned that in the UK it's different because it can be viewed as like, I don't know the exact words they use, but it's something like, it's like gambling almost,
Gambling.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is different. That is not the same thing as forex trading. That would be a different category, and I believe that you won't fall into that. That would be
Okay.
different. That would be different, because that's the difference is, you don't basically buy the currency and sell the currency and then you make a profit out of or loss based on the value of the currency. Is you bet if the currency is going to go up or down. That's the difference. And is that
Mm.
what you're doing?
No, it's like mainly forex, like, no, it's
Okay.
not betting. No.
Okay, so
No.
because it's called spread betting. It's
Yeah, I
betting.
know.
It's betting if the currency will go up or down. That will be considered betting. It's also an incredibly gray area, and yes, it
Mhm.
is true. There's a big okay. There is a big loophole around that, but yeah, I don't think that would apply to your situation now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's fine. Ultimately, I just want to do
Mm-hmm.
what's going to be the easiest for me long term and make sure that we're not overpaying. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
so, oh, just give me, can I just call you
Of
back?
course, of
Please?
course, of course, of course. You're
Okay,
welcome
I'll
to
join.
join. Yeah, we'll join
Yeah,
as soon as you can.
thank you so much.
No worries, no worries. Per
Sorry again.
there we go. Perfect, perfect. I mean, it's completely fine. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. Absolutely fine. Perfect.
Yeah, so I can't remember what I was saying, but basically, yeah, I'll let you go and then I'll let you know if I've got any other questions.
Yeah, no, perfect. No, that's completely fine. And it was actually good that, I mean, not good, but it was convenient. Not convenient, but I mean, while you obviously the time that you also take away went away is also good for me to just like go over everything that we've been speaking about and organize my thoughts a bit.
Mhm,
And obviously, so what I would like to also understand, and is obviously something that if you're comfortable disclosing, it would
mhm.
be so from your dentistry, what is your income from your self-employment in terms of dentistry or your overall income? I don't know if you have all the sources of income.
Yeah, so I mean, currently I've dropped down to 2 days now, 2 days a week, and we'll be doing more of the nutrition as well. But I'm still figuring out my programs for the nutrition. So
Uh,
with the dentistry alone, I mean, I've just dropped recently, but I'd say gross is about 70, but it will go
70.
down now. Yeah, a little
Okay.
bit.
Okay. Okay. So you would be already part of the higher tax bracket.
Yeah, kind of the
Yeah.
middle. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
actually.
Okay. And you operate as a sole trader. Because I was trying to understand, because obviously when it comes to self-employment,
Hmm.
while you are part of the basic tax rate, then it doesn't really make a difference because your income rate would be 20%. That would be pretty much the same
Yeah.
as a corporation. But as you start moving up and
Hmm.
on the tax brackets, that's where opening a company could become beneficial. I was trying to understand if that
Hmm.
would be something that would be beneficial for you because obviously, and the benefits that come with it is that then you would open the company, you'd set yourself as a director of the company, and you would be taxed under corporation tax. That's the main difference. And the corporation tax
Hmm.
is as well 20 to 25%. And that's a
Hmm.
big gap from let's say 40% that you would pay on the
Hmm.
higher tax bracket. And obviously this is just one of the factors. There's also obviously more then opening a company will also open you to a lot of different strategies that you can follow to mitigate your tax liability. For example, as I said, you'd obviously set yourself as a director of the company, but one thing that is also important to understand is that as a director of the company, you'd have your salary, obviously, and the salary that you'd give yourself would be, we'll try to make it as low as possible so that you fall under the personal allowance. And then
Hmm.
the rest, obviously, this won't be enough for you to live on. But then what you can do is give yourself the rest through dividends, pay yourself the rest through dividends, and dividends will be
Hmm.
taxed on a 9% dividend rate, which is obviously very beneficial. So these are a few of the strategies that you could explore with a company because obviously because I kind of disregarded the dentistry, but it doesn't make sense to disregard it because you said that you already have an accountant. I thought that you'd go over this with your accountant, but I'm just trying to understand if this is a conversation that you've had before. This is something that you've considered,
Hmm.
or is it the first time that you're listening, that you're hearing this?
No, yeah, you're right. Like I did consider, but because I was looking to drop
To
my
drop
dentistry
it, yeah,
days, yeah, it kind of didn't really make sense. And I had previously asked about putting all of it in, well, the dentistry as well as the nutrition
you can. That's the thing,
in the company together.
and even the
But
trading. Sorry to interrupt.
yeah, so that's basically what I was going to ask. But can it
Mhm.
all fall under one company
You
because
can,
they're not
definitely can.
linked to each other? I mean,
Doesn't.
the nutrition and dentistry, yes, slightly,
Mhm.
but
No,
okay.
they can all fall under each other. The only thing that is important to understand is when setting up the company, you have to clearly state the SIC codes, so that that it basically regulates the activity of the company. And if when opening the company, the house of companies, then if you state those three, it would be probably three different SIC codes. Then you can operate and do all the activities. Because I mean, I'll give you the example of my father's company. My father's company has probably like 18 different SIC codes, so it can do basically anything that you can imagine. That's the thing. Like as long as it's clearly stated once you form the company, then you can definitely do it.
Okay, and is that overall an advantage to have like more than, have it all under one company rather than keep it separate? And then in the future, say my partner and I want to obviously start investing or like anything to do with property and things, would that also come into this company potentially?
I mean, you can always set up the company and then revise the SIC codes. So in the
Hmm.
future, if you need to make any revisions to the SIC codes, you can always do it. That wouldn't be a problem either. But you can't just now start investing in property without making the necessary changes. That is only a consideration that you need to think of. Yeah,
Yeah, of course. Okay, fine. So technically you can have completely unrelated things, but
literally.
then is there an advantage of having them as separate in terms of like what is the most efficient way and also protects me, reduces tax, and again, I'm really
Hmm.
unfamiliar. Probably,
No, that's
every
completely
person,
fine. That is completely
everyone
fine.
in science is useless with finances. So
No, don't say that.
basically, for now, I am learning. But yeah, basically, I feel like this was mentioned in a conversation before where I don't know whether you can transfer. There was something about there is a benefit between in having them as separate companies, but is
Mm.
that not really the case?
I mean, it will be easier to keep, let's say, the in terms of reporting might be a bit easier because things are more easily accessible
Mm-hmm.
and easy, clear, more easily. It's easier to visualize everything, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in terms of, I mean, you can. There's the two thoughts. You can even open four different companies and have them all under one big holding company, for example, and that is also something that is quite beneficial, especially to transfer funds within companies. That is also something that is quite beneficial. But I mean, if you want to operate under one company, that would be the same. You can open a limited company. This is something that, in the benefits of a limited company, is that it's basically a completely separate legal entity to you. So, in case that, let's say, everything goes wrong, all of your business fail, and that everything goes wrong, you don't have to pay anything else other than the company. So the liability doesn't transfer to you; it stays within the company. So that's why limited companies are beneficial. That's why they're good. But in terms of opening four different ones or opening just one, I mean, I think that as you're starting, I would probably keep with one. And if you see that maybe the nutrition is going very well, and then also the trading is coming very well, and you see that you'd be open keen to separate those in terms of even your finances and the reporting and everything, that's obviously something that you can do. But as a start, I think that would probably be beneficial to just one, because obviously then it will also come having more companies requires more reporting,
Yeah,
and it's a bit harder and more costs of keeping the companies.
that's true. Okay. And if one of them doesn't go well, like say trading,
Mhm.
would it affect other things in the same company?
No, not at all. That wouldn't be a
Hmm.
problem. No, definitely not.
Okay,
If
fine.
something, you can use the losses from that to deduct from your overall tax at the end of the
Yeah,
year.
right.
No,
So I should stay in last. No.
that's the trick. That's a new trick to trading. Just have losses consistently.
Um, it's not hard. I can do that. But okay, fine. Gosh, yeah, it's just so overwhelming, and I
No, it
really
is a
don't
lot.
enjoy this stuff. So I guess it's really helpful to have
That's
just have
exactly
these
what. That's
conversations.
exactly
So
why people like me exist. To also do the part that you don't have to, that you don't necessarily enjoy so much, or that you
it's just
don't
because
know
I
as
don't
much.
know. Yeah,
Exactly,
exactly.
obviously, and
But
as you start, but it's, I mean, obviously in the beginning, while when you don't know anything, it is a bit overwhelming.
mhm,
But as you start understanding, you'll see that it isn't so overwhelming, and it's not so much, and
yeah,
not so hard to comprehend.
okay. And so I'm guessing do you work like with a lot of UK based
Mm,
people mainly,
definitely,
or
mostly UK. We also work with a few American clients, and
mhm.
we are starting to open that side of the business. But we are a UK company, and I'm going to say 98% of our clients are in the UK.
Okay, fine. Yeah, just because obviously I know the rules are constantly changing,
Hmm.
and it's just good to like my current dentistry tax advisor is probably like it's like not it was recommended by friends, family, that kind of thing, and
Uh,
hasn't really gone out of his way really to have a lot of discussions. So
hmm.
a lot of things, if I don't ask, then I don't
Okay, you
get
don't
to
hear from
learn
him.
anything new,
Yeah.
and I don't know what to ask a lot of the
Okay.
time. So
Yeah.
a lot of yeah, and then a lot of colleagues have
Mm,
just got their own accountants, and ultimately, yeah, it's all about saving money in the most
exactly. Exactly.
legal ways and obviously and everything.
Hmm.
But I just feel like that's something I've not really had so far. But
Hmm.
yeah, so that's really good for me to know. It's good to know that I can put it
Definitely.
all into one company because that's what I
Hmm.
would ideally want.
Yeah.
And with the trading, the tech stuff, like I'll definitely read up more on these eight
Hmm.
things that you can send me all of that.
Actually, nine.
Um, yeah. Oh, nice. um, okay, nine. And yeah, like I guess I do. Like I don't know, just probably need to do some more research, but equally I need
Hmm.
to make
To
a
have
decision
someone to
quickly.
or that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, like with the nutrition functional medicine, I want like I'm not seeing any clients at the moment. I've just been
Mhm.
learning and
Okay.
making a program, and like, yeah, very informal chats with family friends. But once I start doing that properly, then again, that's something I just want to know that the account side is sorted. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, what would you like? How would it work then with you
Mhm.
guys? Like, you can send me obviously any information about how the packages work and how you'd help and things, and how much work I need to do, what information you need, kind of
Mhm.
things. I don't know. You can just let me know.
Mhm. Got it. No, I mean, that does make sense. Before, just to backtrack a bit, just so I can also
Hmm.
understand, because that
Yeah.
will influence what I'm gonna say next. In terms of your nutrition and
Hmm.
that side of of your activity, what is exactly that you're looking to do, and what is the activity that there?
So yeah, so it will be basically like health coaching. It's called functional
Okay.
medicine. So essentially, it's
Oh,
like private. Yeah, I don't
okay.
know if you're familiar with functional medicine, but essentially,
Mhm.
it's basically like private GP, but in a slightly
Okay.
more holistic way.
Okay.
And so currently, it's just been figuring out my niche, and like that's all I'm working on. But ultimately, it would be consultations, and then they would be doing like lab testing and basically a
Okay.
one-on-one program.
Okay. I'm just trying to understand, so the level of relationship that you'd have with your clients, if it's something that would require maybe even contracts or anything of that sort that could protect you in any way. Is that something that would that you also need support with?
Um, Contracts, like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I've got indemnity, I've got like that sort of thing,
Hmm.
insurance what for the nutrition side, and then the dentistry as well is separate.
Okay.
But
So probably not so much.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. No, I'm trying to understand because obviously it's also important to, I mean, okay, accounting is a big part, but also the legal part is also quite big. And it's
Hmm.
important to, in those things where you give advice or you have a
Hmm.
direct impact on someone else's life, then it's
Hmm.
often the case that it's beneficial to have contracts in place to shelter you and protect you from any when in the event that anything goes wrong, let's say.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what the indemnity
Yeah,
normally
exactly.
is.
Yeah.
That's what they do. Yeah.
Exactly. No, that's also what that's what I was trying to ascertain. No, that's completely
Hmm.
fine. Perfect. But I mean, in terms of going back to your point, going in terms of our services and how we typically operate, what we like to do is because and this is our way of doing things, and this is how we onboard. I'm going to say 90% of the clients that we service nowadays, and
Hmm.
been servicing. It's that we like to start with what we call a 30-day sprint. So it's basically 30 days of consultation where we sit down to understand as much as we can about you, your activities. So in this case, the dentistry, the nutrition,
Hmm.
the trading, understand as much as we can about all these three components. And then based on that, also understand what your goals are. Basically, in this case, you said you want to work from home. You want to have that freedom. Also, you want to increase your trading, everything of that sort. So we'll understand as much as can about your activity, your goals. In the initial, this will be mostly the focus of the initial week. After the first, after so next, let's say Friday. If we start on a Monday, let's say
Hmm.
Friday we put together a report with everything that we find, and we set up a bit of a game plan for the following 3 weeks. And then in the 3 weeks that follow, we'll work to answer all of your questions and outline all the strategies that could help you go reach your goals, basically. So in terms of your dentistry, how can you operate in the most tax efficient manner in that sense while you're still doing it? In terms of the nutrition, how can we expedite that growth, and how can you structure that also in the best way? In terms of trading, any kind of tips or any kind of systems that you could have in place to also then, and as I said, for example, the company and the director, the strategy you can follow if you have a company. So these kind of things that would ultimately be the goal of the sprint, because
Hmm.
it's the best way that we have to get to know you and your activity and exactly what you do and the level of support that you'd require, while adding the most amount of value possible. So giving you basically one big document that will serve as a roadmap for you to follow it in the time to come, let's say within the next year, for example, where and this is good because what we have is that not most not all but most, let's say, of the clients with this report, they feel like they have now what they need to move forward and structure the activity a bit on their own, if that's what they like. All the clients say that no, I mean, this is a good place to start, but I would require a bit of a more ongoing support. So what we typically do is we have this 30-day sprint, and then let's say week 3, or as we approach the end of the sprint, we have another call where we basically understand not only what you feel about the sprint, how everything is going, but then also understand on an ongoing basis what level of support you require,
Hmm.
and in terms of that. So in terms of the services that you're looking for, what is it exactly that you had in mind?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably what it would be,
Mm,
just like go through everything I'm doing, or like my finances are kind of all over the place right now with all the different.
I can
And then
imagine, yeah.
I did set up a limited company actually for the functional medicine, the nutrition,
Okay.
about a year and a bit ago, because I was looking to start like pretty quickly, but then
Mhm.
with that, it's just taken a lot longer. So I've not
Okay.
really done much work there at all.
Mhm.
So it would either mean, I don't know, getting rid of that company, whatever you'd
No, I mean, we
suggest.
can
But
we can always have a look at how you structure the company and then do any kind of revisions that would suit then the other activities as well. That's something we can
yeah,
do.
yeah, basically, because it's already there. But
Mhm.
yeah, it was like, I know with my current accountant, literally, we just get in touch around November, December.
Okay, just a little catch up and that's it.
I do all the numbers and everything, and then I'm told what to pay, and then I do that. And I obviously like that, but equally, there are so many things I could be missing.
Exactly. That's
And
I think that just
yeah,
from this call alone, like we've gathered that there's probably a lot better strategies for you to follow than the ones you've been
yeah.
following. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it makes sense as well because I was so in between. I wasn't just like, if I had stuck to the trajectory from when I started dentistry, then I would obviously be over 100 or more, much more.
Mhm.
And then it would have made sense.
Yeah.
However, I've actually slowed down and actually gone
Mm.
backwards, which I'm okay with because I want to kind of remove it over time.
Yeah.
But that's why even the accountant probably didn't know
Okay.
what to do with me because I was a bit like here and there.
Yeah.
So that's the
Mhm.
main thing, though. It's just kind of putting it all in one place and
Mhm.
doing everything on time. Because again, I think that's my personality. I'm a bit too careless and carefree sometimes.
I
Like,
relate
I
to
don't know.
that. I
It's a
relate
good
to
thing
that.
with many things, yeah.
Mm.
But it's like, obviously, with all the legal stuff, I think I'm
Mm.
just like, yeah, it's fine. And then it's
And
not
it's
fine.
not
So,
fine.
yeah. So that kind of thing. But
Mm.
you know, yeah, so I understand it would be busy in the beginning, but I guess it's not something like monthly that we need
Mm.
to check in. I'm not really
That's the
sure,
thing.
but
Probably not. That is exactly why we like to start in this fashion because we have, let's say, an intense first month, and when I say intense, it's mostly on our end. Where maybe
mm,
because we'll ask a few questions and a bunch of questions, and as I said, we'll aim to give you 1 to 2 reports per week where we'll build an initial document and then we'll keep building on that document. And
hmm
it's important that what we ask of you is that, and there's two things. First is to understand that the first week is just an initial report and nothing but that is just our understanding of a situation and a bit of a roadmap because we get that often people approach us and we provide the first initial report and they say like, what is this? Like this doesn't add much or anything. And then they get a bit frustrated. But it's important to set the expectations and just say that the first week is where we'll take the time to understand as much as we can about you and what we're going to be doing over the next 3 weeks. That's mostly what the
hmm
first one is. And then the report, the initial, the report from Friday, the first Friday to the last Friday, for example, I'll give you a quick example of, I think it was the last client that we onboarded. The first week report, I think it was close to 20 pages, something. It wasn't very big, but it was 20 pages.
hmm
Last Friday it was 109 pages. Like it's a
Wow.
big difference. Like we'll keep building and we'll improve it every day. So it's important to understand that. Obviously, I'm saying that. I mean, that was a very specific case and a very specific client. Will obviously aim to give you something shorter than
Mhm.
109 pages because also giving you a Bible, it's also not our goal.
Yeah.
But obviously depending on the situation, we'll have different reports. But that is the goal: is to build one initial document that will keep building upon over the 4 weeks, and then at
hmm
the end, give you basically a roadmap and a conclusion to okay, we've looked at your dentistry, your nutrition, your trading. We think that for dentistry you should do X, for nutrition you should do Y, for investing you should do Z, and then
hmm
set up all the whole strategies, understand as much as we can about all of them, and then give you a bit of a game plan, let's say, so that you can gather. Because as I'm understanding, and as you've already said as well, you're a bit all over the place, so we want to gather you from all the places and put them all in one, and give you
Yeah.
a bit of a strategy, and then hopefully, as you said, this will be the first month, and as I said, it will be a bit more intense probably on both sides. But then moving forward, you'll understand a lot better about your situation and how to go forward and move forward. And then based on that, we'll understand as well the level of support that you'd require. If you, we can then obviously look into you and during the sprint, you'll have access to the team 24/7. And then after the sprint, it'll be a bit difficult. If you need keep if you want to keep this access 24/7, then we can look at obviously solutions for that. If not, you also always have my number. You're also welcome to drop me a message. You also you can think of me as your little pocket accountant, where if anything that you want, you can always ask me. I'm more than happy to assist you with those things. Where there's just like small things, and then if you need more assistance or anything, we can look at that. And then obviously end of the year tax returns, self assessments. Those are all things that we do for everyone that we service.
Okay, fine. Yeah, no, that sounds good. Yeah, I'll just, I guess, wait to maybe hear from you. You can, or I'll go through the website a bit more as well and
Mm.
just see. And
But
just,
what would you like to hear from me, and what would you like to know from the website? Because we're having a conversation now. Might as well
oh,
get all of the things out of the way.
I mean, yeah, like just the costs involved and how, like, basically, yeah, whether it's a yearly, like, monthly fee or how does
Mm.
it work?
Okay, so in terms of the fees, the sprint is a once-off fee. You pay it once, and that's just for the sprint. And it kind of varies within the scope of work that will be required. If the sprint is easier, it will be obviously cheaper. If there's more work involved, then it will be a bit more expensive. So in terms
Mhm.
of that, I would get back to you with the price. I'll just have to also go to the team and understand exactly the full scope
Mhm.
of work that would be necessary, and the amount of work that would also, and
Mhm.
the fee that would be correspondent. But I mean, yeah, I mean, usually the base fee and the ongoing fee for the sprint is £697. And then obviously, well, from what I'm understanding from the situation, there is, given that there's three basically components that we'll be analyzing at the same time, that would probably add a bit of complexity to the sprint. I mean, I don't think that the price would shoot up drastically. Let's say, but never
Yeah.
be like more than £1,000. I'd say that never.
Okay.
No.
That would just be literally for the onboarding process and then kind of the initial sprint, right? And then once you're
Hmm.
helping, is there like then a monthly fee for just
No,
doing all the things?
then we charge for the services that we provide. I mean, if we don't do anything the month, we don't charge you for that month. Obviously, then I'm assuming that if you have the strategy and if you have this roadmap and if you're good to go for the let's say the rest of the year even, then obviously that's the extent of the cost that you'll incur from our side. Then at the end
Mm.
of the year, you'll need corporation tax returns if you do open a company, if you do go with the company route. If it's just a self-assessment, then it will just be the self-assessment, like the cost for the self-assessment. So that would be it.
And so in order to set up that company, put all these like different
Mhm.
subsets in it, and then also to help with the tax returns, right? Like
Mhm.
those are the things. What would the charges be, sort of
So, I
thing?
mean, with the sprint, our goal is in the first week. That's exactly the thing that we want to understand in the first week. Is that in the first week we also already want to have a clear understanding if you want to go with the company route, if you want to keep operating as a sole trader, what is the goal? Because if you do want to go with the company route, our goal is that by the end of the sprint, you have all the companies, either the one company or the three companies, all set up, everything ready to operate, and everything set. So that is the goal of the sprint, and then that would be more cost for that. Obviously, I mean, other than the cost of probably you having to open the company, but that is also pretty minimal.
Okay. Okay.
No,
So that's all fine. And then to do the self-assessment, like around January time.
probably, yeah. I mean, the self-assessment for this previous tax year, if you say,
Yes, so it would be like the deadline is end of Jan, right?
yeah, 31st of Jan.
So whenever that would be done.
I mean, if if everything's already sorted and everything, we can get through that earlier than Jan, obviously.
You,
But I mean, if you want to keep it for Jan.
yeah. Or okay, fine. But would there be a separate cost for that?
So in terms of the self-assessments, the ongoing fee for the self-assessments is £350, and
Hmm.
with that, we aim to basically do everything with the self-assessment, understand help you gather all the documents, or help you understand also, because with dentistry there's a lot of different expenses that you could deduct from your tax, overall tax, and your overall income, sorry, of your overall income, that will minimize your taxable income. And so help you understand all of these. Then once we have all of this in place, we'll fill out the self-assessment form. We'll show it to you, make sure that everything's okay. If it is, we'll submit, and then after the after and once we submit it, we'll have a sign-off call. You will have a sign-off call with our head of accounts, where he'll not only go through the form and understand if there's any discrepancies, any places where you could maybe try and employ a different strategy or maybe if you could explore some kind of cost to minimize this, or if you can, for example, increase your pension contributions to lower your taxable income, these kind of things. The way then we'll also understand, because once we do submit your self-assessment, we'll have a clear understanding of your activity, and our head of accounts will give you some advice and pointers as well as to any room for improvement there as well.
Okay. Yeah, and then also with the pension, like, do you provide advice on that kind of
Mm,
thing?
exactly. Yeah, no, 100%. The goal of the sprint is to give you as much as, because that's the thing. We'll understand with the sprint, we'll understand you inside out. Like, we'll know everything about you. And once we do, we'll give you all the advice that is specific to your situation. That's why we like the sprint so much, is because
Mm.
no two sprints are alike. They're all very specific to each other's and to each client's situation. And that is why it's and the other day I had a client say that she kept me asking me questions about the sprint, and then at the end she was like, "Yeah, I'm just trying. I'm saying, like she was like, I'm sorry, I'm asking so many questions. I'm just trying to understand the downside of the sprint." And I was like, I honestly don't know, because I mean, it's just the goal is to basically answer all your questions and all your problems, and solve all your problems, and that is the ultimate goal of the sprint. And it's
Okay, yeah, fine. I know it's just because my situation seems so unique, and it's like three different things
Mhm.
and all, right? That I feel like I don't want to miss anything. I don't want to
That is our
like,
job. To not
yeah,
miss anything and to point everything out, and to, because as you said, you don't know much about this. Your background is in science, it's not tax, it's not law, it's not accountancy. That is our background, and it's our job to point out everything to you and make everything dumb everything down a bit, basically. Make everything
exactly.
simple. Yeah.
Fine. Yeah, no, it sounds good. I'm just like, I like to just kind of process everything, literally think about everything, write down any questions. I kind of just jumped on this call, but it's been really
It's a bit just
helpful.
spontaneous.
Yeah, no, it's just good to
Yeah.
like know that it can all be in one place.
Mhm.
I really felt a sense of peace that like, it's not going to be that bad, and yeah, I don't need to do it
No,
myself. So,
100%.
yeah.
I mean, your situation is complicated, but it's not the most complex we've seen, and there's people out there with a lot more complex situations, and we've helped them, so there's literally no need, no reason why we wouldn't be able to help you as well. That
Okay,
that rest assured, 100%.
that's good to know.
'Cause
Okay, fine.
if we had this much value, and we answered so many questions with just like half an hour of conversation in a month, we can you can imagine how many questions we can answer and how much we can accomplish.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Exactly.
I mean, when's kind of like, so summer is just a busy month, everyone's going all over the place until September, but like to do the sprint kind of in October and, looking, that would give enough time for everything to be done by end of Jan.
I mean, that depends on you and your also,
Yeah.
because I mean, we will always aim to be as quick as possible, but then it will depend on
Mhm.
your side also how quick you can get our answers back to us and everything. But yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. 100%.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
when you say during summer that everyone's leaving, are you worried about our side or your side that you're also going to be
No, it's
traveling?
me.
Okay,
I'm just really busy. Yeah.
okay, okay, no, that's completely fine.
Yeah.
Mm,
So I just know as well there's so much to do.
mhm,
And for me, once I miss an email, then I end up
mm.
ignoring, like I just forget about things for several weeks sometimes.
Okay.
So
A good thing about that, and that's exactly why we also like to operate in this way, because we also don't like emails like you. Emails are very easily missed. So what we like to do is we like to work with WhatsApp, and that's also something that we do a bit different. Is that with the sprint, we'll create a WhatsApp group. There'll be me, you, the relevant members of our team, our founder, to make sure that everything's going all right and smoothly. And then in that group, we'll ask all the questions. So if you have questions for us, you can drop them there 24/7. As I said, if we have
yeah.
questions, we'll also drop them questions there. Then obviously the reports and everything will be sent through email. So the more formal communication, we can send them through email. We'll send them on both, to be honest. We'll send them on WhatsApp and email, but
Mhm.
communication will be mostly done through WhatsApp, because it's just a lot easier. We can drop a voice note, drop a quick message, much easier than speaking over email.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fine. Okay,
Yeah,
that's really helpful as well.
that
Have
helps.
you been with the company for long yourself?
Me, I've been here for almost a year now.
Okay, fine. Is the
Your time
company
is
new or
the
kind
company
of
is not new. I mean, the program has been up for since 20. It's been 8 years. This is our 8th year.
Oh, wow, okay,
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, again, because I've got no like accounting. Everyone's using the online zero thing, you
0.
know?
100%. That helps with keeping all your finances together and and for the end of the
Mm,
year, the reporting and everything. We can That's another thing that we've also done in the past is that if you'd like, we can also teach you and walk you through how to use 0 to
mhm.
also help you with gathering all the documents and the expenses and the profit and the earnings, so that at the end of the year, you have everything gathered, and it's a lot easier to then, um, have access to it, basically. Because at the end of
Right.
the year, you will need to provide these
Yeah,
documents and this information.
exactly. Okay. And with the trading, one last bit, and then I can,
Yeah,
yeah.
of course. I mean,
Um,
I don't have any more meetings this afternoon, so we can stay here till 5, basically.
okay, no. Um, with the trading, like I've not been kind of keeping an account monthly of gains and loss. You know, it starts off with beginner's luck, it's all good, and then that's just yeah, it's all
Okay.
downhill from there. So I've not really kept a monthly. Obviously, it's all
Mm.
going to be
Recorded it within the tools that you use, surely.
yeah, it would be, but it's
Yeah.
kind of like different apps because I'd have like different accounts, and then recently I'm on the challenge but it just feels like it's all over the place, you know. But does it
Okay.
matter that it's an exact monthly figure, or if I know ultimately from my bank account, right, how much I've put into things, and then today I can see what's left, kind of thing? Or,
Okay, so I mean, obviously, the more accurate you can make it, the better, roughly speaking. But another thing that is also important to understand is that when it comes to being taxed in regards to trading, is that you are taxed at the moment of realization. So what does this mean? Is that you can put money into, let's say, you put £1,000 into your account, you trade, you make, all of a sudden that number goes up to £10,000, and then you lose, but you keep all this within your trading account. You don't move it back into your bank account. So you go from 1,000 to 10,000, then you drop to 5,000, then you go up again to 8,000, then you at the end you have 3,000. You think, okay, no, that's enough. I want to withdraw it to my account. You are taxed here with the 3,000. The rest doesn't matter. You only taxed when you put the money back into your account. What happens inside of the trading account doesn't really matter. So if you, I mean, have you made any kind of withdrawals since you started, or
no, that's yeah, that's probably
okay,
helpful then, because I
okay,
haven't withdrawn. I don't think so. I can't see why I would have. I would have to just confirm once more,
okay,
but I don't remember ever
mm,
withdrawing. I wanted to
okay.
reach a certain amount before I withdrew,
Mm.
which hasn't happened
You
yet.
haven't reached it yet. Okay, fair
No.
enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But I mean, again, if you, that's the thing. I mean, that is basically the most important part to understand is that
Oh,
you are only taxed and charged when you withdraw the money, basically.
right. Okay.
No,
Fine. Okay. That's also useful to know. Yeah,
exactly. So
I
I hope
mean,
that helps with the question that you've asked. Hopefully.
yeah,
Okay.
completely. I mean,
Perfect.
I still, yeah, like, I'm sure I can get all the information anyway. It's all going to be on the app and the history of it.
Exactly.
So that's
Exactly.
fine. But yeah, if you obviously have any like resources on understanding tax for like retail day traders, then that would be
Mm.
really helpful.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, like, you know, I'm like really glad you've answered pretty much all my questions, and probably more stuff will come to mind. I can always let
Mm.
you know. But if I was to start anything, I do think around mid October is a good
Okay.
time. If you
Yeah.
finally
It,
settle
it,
in on
it's So it's up to
things.
you. It's up to you when you want to start, to be honest. Yeah, 100%. When
Yeah,
you have the availability, because when we do start, obviously it will be in your best interest to be available and to answer our questions quickly and to give the feedback. Because one big part of the sprint is the feedback that you give about the documents as well,
mhm,
the questions that come from it. Because we'll be giving you, because obviously at this point you don't know what you don't know, and once you start
yeah,
knowing, you'll want to know more, and because now at this point you don't know, you can't ask questions because you don't understand much about it. But once you start understanding, you'll be like, this makes sense. And now I want to know that. I want to know about this and this and that and that. And
yeah,
obviously that is where your feedback becomes quite important during the sprint.
yeah. Okay, got it.
100%. Perfect.
Okay,
Perfect.
great.
Amazing. I mean, obviously, you're going to be busy now and everything, and now wouldn't be a good time. But I would just like, obviously, overall, would like to understand your what you think about the sprint and the services and everything, and what you're feeling about it, how you're feeling about it.
Yeah, I think it's what I need, definitely. I just need someone to help me kind of collate everything and just, yeah, like get all the numbers together
Mm.
and also for once maybe be able to forecast like and have goals as well financially, you
Exactly,
know.
exactly. And
Yeah.
that's another thing that will help you with financial planning and everything. And
Mhm,
and that's something that, especially for trading, obviously now at this point isn't
mhm.
the most relevant. But one thing that is important to understand with trading is that, as I said, you are taxed at the moment of realization, but you only have to pay this tax at the end of the year with your self-assessment. So it's important to understand is that you will have to keep a bit of have to have a bit of leeway at the end of the year to make sure that you have enough funds to pay your tax at the end of the year. One thing that
Yeah.
is one thing, I mean, rule of thumb and a good practice is to put aside and set aside like 25 to 30% of your income that month from trading
Yeah.
to at the end of the year make sure that you have more than enough money to pay your taxes. That is the kind of things that we'll also try to understand with you and help you understand to make sure that everything goes as
Mhm.
smoothly as possible.
Yeah, exactly. I've had to do that with dentistry as well.
Okay,
So, you know, in a
okay,
way, I'm familiar
you're
and
not
like,
stranger to that.
yeah, exactly. I was,
Okay.
yeah, it's probably a bad thing, you know, when you're saving so much, because then that's kind of why I got into trading. I was like, okay, there's all this money that is
Mm,
just sitting in the bank. Obviously, a lot of it goes to tax, but then some of it, I don't know, it's not like I regret starting trading, but
okay.
sometimes, you know, when it's been a bit of a bumpy ride.
Okay, no, 100%. And I
But
mean, our founder is also has a bit of a love-hate relationship with trading because he also dabbled with forex trading quite a lot, and he lost a substantial amount of money with trading until he decided to think maybe this isn't for him. But he lost, I
oh,
think,
did he quit then?
he still does it, but not on the same scale because at some point, I think he lost close to £300,000, and he was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Okay, no, this is starting to get a bit hectic now." And it was like,
Oh,
"Okay, maybe
no.
let's put a break on this." And he still dabbles with it, but not on the same scale.
Yeah, I know. I think
Yeah,
that's what most people's stories been, and it's the kind of thing where once you see the potential, like gains, then you just don't really want to quit. But it's figuring out the right balance, and
exactly, and the
yeah,
right strategies. The most important part is to have the right strategies in place,
yeah,
and that is something that comes with experience and studying. Obviously, the more you study, the more you'll understand, and the better you in the better position you'll be to be successful,
exactly.
basically.
Yes.
I mean,
But
you wouldn't believe the amount of people that come to us every week. So say traders that are in the exact same position as you are, but they are now starting to see the income, the profits. They are now in a position where they're starting to make 5, 10, 20,000 pounds per month, where they
mhm,
now need the help and like they are a step ahead of you, where now you're setting the foundation, but they are already incurring the profits. They're like, okay, what do I do with this money? How do I organize this? How do I set myself to not pay
mhm.
as many more taxes than I need to?
Yeah.
Basically. And we have so many people come to us every week about this. I have that conversation quite often, not gonna lie.
Okay.
So it is
Fine.
possible. It's definitely possible. It's just a matter of, I mean, obviously in the beginning, as you said, it's a bit of a hit or miss, and there'll be
Mhm.
a lot of misses, but you also have hits. And then once you do hit, it's just stick with that, understand what you did right, and
Yeah.
just try and replicate it as much as you can.
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah, definitely. That's kind of how I'm trying to think about it. Just,
Exactly.
yeah, not get rich quick.
I mean,
Okay.
once you do crack it, then you will make a good amount of money quite quickly. Not gonna
Yeah,
lie, 100%,
true.
100%. But
Okay.
I'm glad that you're taking the time now to educate yourself and to have these conversations because I had a call with a client, a guy the other day. The other day was probably like 3 months ago, where he came to us because he had made, I think, it was just over £2 million in profits over 3 years. And the way he saw it, he thought that he didn't have to pay taxes on it for some reason. And then he came to us and he had to pay just over 1.5 million pounds in tax. And he was like, help, save me. What can I do? And I was like, there's not much you can do, but that just goes to show that it's always better to, in the beginning, before you incur in these kind of profits, to educate yourself and to understand exactly what you have to do and the consequences that come
Yeah,
with the profits before you actually incur in those profits. Because then once the mess is done, there's not much you can do.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Okay, good. I know, because it's so easy. Everyone on the groups and communities saying, no, not really, or there's loopholes and this and
Mm.
that, but maybe there
Yeah,
are. Anyways, it's all about just reducing the tags and doing it in the
exactly.
most efficient way.
Exactly.
Um,
No one likes to pay taxes, and that's exactly
I
what we're
know
helping.
it's
That's
just
exactly why
got to
we're
be
here
done.
to help you minimize them in the most legal manner possible.
Exactly. Okay.
100%. But perfect. I mean, as I said, you have my number. You know how to reach me. So if you have any questions, anything that you might need, feel free to drop me a message because I know that
Perfect.
from now until October, there will be probably plenty of questions to come. So always feel free to drop me a message. I'll follow this call also with the 9 badges of trade so that you can have a look at it,
Mhm.
as well as then obviously we've been saying a lot on this call, so I can put together a little document for you that kind of just summarizes everything that I've mentioned, all that I've
Yeah,
said, all that you've said, and
that would be really
and all the
helpful.
courses so that you can keep it in place. I mean, I don't know if that would also be relevant, but I mean, these calls are automatically recorded. It's not that we do anything with them. It's just for the instance that if you do want the recording for your own sake, so that you can refer back to it, I can also share that with you. That won't be a problem.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think most of it was, but you can do. You can. Why not?
I'll share the recording of the call, the basically the summary and the bullet points that kind
Mhm.
of summarize everything that we've been discussing, and then also the 9 badges of trade, or include the 9 badges of trade in in the document. That will probably be easier. So I'll just give you
Yes.
basically a document with everything that we've been saying and the recording.
Great. Thank you so
Perfect.
much.
That's completely fine, Priyanka. I mean, that's exactly why we're here to help you, and anything that you might need. Again, feel free to drop me a message. Hours don't
Yes.
mean much. Weekends, weekdays, anything. I'll always be here. Don't worry.
Oh, thank you so much. Really helpful.
My pleasure. Perfect, Priyanka. I
Uh,
mean, if that's it, I'm happy to leave it there.
yeah,
Any last
that's
questions?
great.
Anything before we go?
No, no, nothing at all. I will message though. I'll definitely reach out at the right time. But
Perfect.
yes, it's been really, really helpful. Thank you so
Perfect.
much.
All right, Priyanka. Then I hope you have a good Wednesday, a good week, and a good weekend, and we'll chat soon then.
Thank you so much. You too.
Perfect. Thank you. Bye.
Bye then. Bye.
Bye.